Devin? Devin?
She's perfect.
Oh, I like that.
Plain, not too heavy, almost 40 years old. I'm staring at my father's old record player, and I'm smitten. And this is the summer, right after I graduate from college, it's my last summer of freedom ever. And I'm helping to clean up my parents' garage. And I stumble upon this record player. And maybe it's the heat, maybe it's that garage heat. I'm in California, and it's that garage heat that sticks and clings to you like when you run through a spider web. But I think this is love. And as I'm thinking this, I hear a voice behind me, and it says, you found Stevie. Stevie? And without breaking my stare, I realized that my dad has just walked into the garage, and without breaking my stare, I say, Stevie, as in like Stevie Nicks? Really, Dad? Stevie Nicks? And, but he's already left. And I don't realize that because I'm so absorbed in that fact that we all have when we have our crushes that, oh my God, she has a name. Stevie. And so I gather up all of Stevie's things. I gather up her cords and her case, and I bring her up to my bedroom, and we hook up. I hook her up to my stereo, and I have everything set up. And then about when I realize that I have no actual LPs to play on her, there's a knock on my door, and my dad comes in with this big plastic container of all of his records. And this is really cool. And I said, "This is awesome, Dad. Thanks." But I'm wondering, is he ready to give up all these records that he's been collecting over the years? And at that moment, he goes into the dad pose, as my siblings call it, which is the hands on the hip and the half smile. That's a full smile with just a mustache hanging over the top row of teeth. It's like a template that's just cut and pasted in all of our photo albums. And from that picture of him, I just know that it is okay. And at this point, I should probably say that my dad is a huge Beatles fan. And to illustrate this point, my household has never had a video game console, ever, in it. But when the Beatles Rock Band came out, my dad blew like 2 decades worth of American Express points to buy the whole get-up with the McCartney bass and everything. So he's a huge Beatles fan, but there's no Beatles records in this collection. I'm leafing through all these Bob Dylan 80s albums I didn't even know existed, and other stuff, but there's no Sgt. Pepper's, there's no Magical Mystery Tour. I put it out of my mind, and I listened to these records. I gulped them down like a D lineman on the sideline with oxygen after he just ran back a fumble. And I'm going through these, and each of them has this little window into my dad's past. I can tell on the first whole side of Rumors, the Fleetwood Mac album with Stevie Nicks, each time Stevie, the record player, crackles and pops, I can tell my dad's listened to this song over and over again. And same thing with Moondance, Van Morrison. And at the same time, my dad's past is just sort of out of reach. The records, in a way, can only point to or suggest a lazy afternoon in Princeton dorm room, or my dad's mood music, I guess. There was some Sade in there. And so, but really, as I look at, or when I think about my parents, the outline of their past is very clear to me. How they met, what schools they went to and everything. So clear, in fact, that it's become a narrative and not something lived or real. And I asked my dad, what happened to all the Beatles records? And he said, I wore them all out. I maybe have the covers left, but there's nothing left. And at that point I realized, sometimes we have to remove from our view the one thing that we think is most defining about the people that we love. In a way, that gives us another first impression of them. And, and that gives us another first impression of them. And at the same time, it's very comforting to fall back into that learned narrative that we have of the people that we love as well. And I don't know how to resolve that, but I have my own growing record collection now, and I have my own record player, and her name is Beyonce. Thank you.